Namaste, Jai Bharat. My Prime Minister was visiting. First, he went to the United Kingdom. Of course, he and me, we were not born in colonial Bharat. We both were born in free Bharat. Yes, my father was born in colonial Bharat. He left there and came back to Bharat the moment we became technically independent of the British rule. Those days it was not really, it was normal for people to travel to London and live there because of colony. And I don't know if they must have had this kind of passport visa regulations. But there's one thing certain, the moment Bharat becomes free, until they come back to the nation, they would lose citizenship. This is what I understand. I do not know what are the laws and rules were there. So, we were born in free Bharat. So, but this visit to UK, once upon a time they were colonizing us, of course. And then the visit was understandably very positive. There was this trade agreement and a lot of things. And from there, he goes to a smaller nation in a different direction. There is south of Sri Lanka, south of Bharat, Sri Lanka and south of Sri Lanka. Not very far. This Maldives. And this Maldives was that funny place, which is totally Muslims. And they are like the South Indians, as I understand. Sri Lankans, of course, have got historical and cultural ties with Bharat. It was ruled by one of the Bharatiya king. I did not know about the Maldives. I should ask some of my history friends, historians. But Sri Lanka, of course, was under the rule of the Cholas. Cholas, Rajaraja Chola, Rajendra Chola, Karikal Chola. These people who ruled so-called East Asia. That's today the war between Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, these places. They were under the rule of the Cholas, and Singapore also, Malaysia, of course, and Indonesia. These Asia, of course, were under the rules of the Cholas, South Indian Tamil kings actually. And the Tamils really have reason to say, speak of their language, because Tamil is still the oldest living language in the entire world. That's a different history in any case. So, my Prime Minister goes to Maldives. Now, Maldives, in spite of the contiguity with Bharat, but Maldives is full of Muslims. Somebody must have, they were Buddhists once upon a time, if I'm not wrong, and they traveled. There was a time of Islamization, and they must have all got converted and think that's the right way. Incidentally, there's something else. So somebody asked an artificial intelligence to say, if you are a human, which religion you would opt for, and the artificial intelligence said, no doubt, that's Sanatana Dharma. And of course, it narrates the reasons. You try the technique. Ask artificial intelligence that if you are a human, which religion you would adopt, and speak one. Give one straight answer. Let's see, you experience for yourself. So anyway, so Maldives, in spite of the fact of all this historical ties, relations, etc., number one. Number two, in spite of the fact that Maldives was politically held by Bharat whenever they were in crisis. No one else can reach there faster. That's a practical aspect. This Moitu, Moizu is written, but I think it's pronounced as Moitu. I am sure. This Moitu, in order to get elected, created two sentiments. One, an Islamic sentiment. He projected the kind of Islamic radical Islam's agenda of Islamic Ummah, Islamic unity. This is used as an ATM by many people. All people who use it as to their convenience. That's why they make religion instrumental. Not the fault of religion. That's how people use it. So he uses that sentiments. Then he made this India out propaganda. And he was trying to make, these people are putting banners in which it was printed India out, taking out rallies, and we have helped them in many aspects whenever they were in difficulty. And the small islands, they need small aircraft to go from one island to another island, and we gave this aircraft to use for their use free. And to maintain these things, we have to put our people. They don't have the technical expertise. They don't have technicians with them. So this was used by our Air Force and maybe Army or maybe Navy. So less than 100, 75 or 78 something of our members of our forces were there, and Austria, Maldives, Mysore wanted the soldiers from Maldives to be out, etc., etc. So it took such strong position. He thought that he can substitute Bharat with a possible friendship between Maldives, Pakistan, Maldives, China, Maldives, Turkey, and Maldives, possibly Bangladesh, etc., etc. He must have thought he would make this Islamic grouping with the support of China, but China doesn't bother of Islam. China is not really religious. Officially, they're atheists. Communism, they support this. They say they're supposed to be communist. So naturally, religion has no room in their theory. So this is what he thought, but how it is not very practical, he didn't understand. He thought things would be done, making castles of cards. But it's in time, he understands the whole thing flops and fails. So after some time of intense suffering, he had made his travels to all over. He, instead of visiting first, traditionally Maldives presidents used to visit Bharat first. He went elsewhere. He wanted to make friends with others, and all these people, they would use Maldives. They wanted to use Maldives. Otherwise, they are not that handsome and beautiful for the whole world to run after them. So, he went after so many people, and nothing really happened. They all wanted to use. He was not getting help, the kind of help he wanted. Eventually, after intense suffering through a period of time, he comes back to Bharat, and the same Maithu who led the India Out campaign has to welcome the Prime Minister of Bharat, and this is nobility. The Prime Minister goes, talks to them, doesn't show antagonism or arrogance or displeasure. We have a right to show that, but don't. Forgiving is great. We say that in Sanskrit, Paschatapa is a prashita. If you repent, sufficient. When you genuinely repent, then he deserves to be pardoned. So my Prime Minister goes and enters into all kinds of agreements and deals for their benefit and funds them wherever it is needed, etc. Then of course, this is the situation in Maldives. Why they had to cast the nose roundabout instead of catching it straight. They could have done it then, and their things were much more comfortable. Their people wouldn't have suffered this long for nothing. So many things happened. Our people stopped going to Maldives for tours. There are islands and beaches, people, those who love it, especially those people in the film industries and etc. Business people, they want to relax. They might go there and spend few days or a week at the most, and then relax and come back. So Maldives was such a destination which they themselves spoiled. Of course, now we're speaking up. And incidentally, what happened? My Prime Minister did nothing. When Maldives was telling India Out campaign running, he simply went to. There are beautiful beaches in Bharat. There's no dearth of beautiful beaches in Bharat. We have no dearth of islands. He just went to Lakshadweep, pulled out a folding chair, sat at the beach in one of, I think, Amini or Minikoi, sat on the beach, white, clean, wonderful beach with coral cities. He sat there and posted that photo in Twitter, Facebook, etc. That's it. These people of Bharat are very emotionally attached to this dynamic Prime Minister of mine. They just followed him. Hey, why should we go to Maldives? Who is against us? We'll go to Lakshadweep. All the same, in Maldives, to go to Maldives, you need a passport, visa, etc. And Lakshadweep, you need nothing because it's our own land, our own people. And of course, this was one impact. He said nothing and asked no one to do anything. The people understood and followed. That's the kind of relations this ruler, this prime minister has with his people. There are oppositions, people who are. We have this concept in Sanskrit, doshe kadrakatva. There are so many doshe kadraks. That's alright. That's a kind of influence. So now, of course, Maldives is trying to redeem itself. We support. We support. We with them. Well, that is the historical, traditional, and cultural magnanimity of Bharat. And it's now Bharat is expected to represent it more so the Prime Minister. And it does it to the optimum satisfaction and expectation of anyone, or anyone can possibly expect. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Siya Ram.